So, man.
Man, chilling, man. So what's going on? We gonna kick some knowledge today or what? What we doing?
Yeah, man. Talk about some books. And
From books?
Talk about some knowledge and how we come to know what we know.
Alright. So, we're gonna run it. What book you want to chop up first?
I know earlier you asked me about what books that introduced me or what books I would say most important to us, you know, being
people.
Individuals of African descent especially. For me, I was born here in America, so our education system wasn't always set up for us to know who we are as black people, especially black men. So in my life, my first introduction to knowing about black people were the Ebony magazines. My dad kept them in the house, and as a kid, I would always flip through them, play around with them. And then there was a Ebony encyclopedia that many people might not be aware of, but
Ebony magazine?
There was some encyclopedia called Ebony.
Okay, no.
And in those encyclopedias, they had like black people who were the first to do this, the first to do that, and my dad had a stack of those, and I used to flip through them as a kid. And then as I became older and just, you know, more familiar with the world around me, I became interested in, you know, black culture. And one of the first books that I read that kind of introduced me to wanting to know more about black people was Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James.
Okay.
And I was already graduated from Florida State University with a degree in philosophy. And at the time, I got upset because I felt like learning about Greek philosophy and learning about all that I learned in the university, it was a miseducation. And I say that because George G.M. James exposed the whole Greek world in terms of philosophy, history, and knowledge, because it was, in fact, indeed stolen African knowledge. Yeah. Stolen philosophy.
All day, all night. And not to cut you off, but what you just said about what happened with you at FSU, same thing happened to me at FAU. But before I graduated, I was like, man, ain't no way I'm going to graduate school, because I was in a junior at the time. I was like, there's no way I'm going to graduate without taking some kind of African course. If I got to go to another school as a transient student, I'm going to do that. And so, but there was enough students at FAU, which is Florida Atlantic University, down there in Boca Raton, Florida. So many students were complaining about that, that they were forced to bring back the African courses. Because I asked the teacher one time in my history class, I was like, how come in the book, I mean, he got all these different cultures, and I won't be disrespectful at all, I love history, bottom line, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just that, to me, it's like a whole other world. Like, I feel as if I'm in that time frame, whatever they're teaching. Like, I put myself there. And so I'm looking at the book, I'm like, I'm flipping through, I'm looking through the glossary, and nothing to do with Africa, nothing to do with no one in the Caribbean. And I'm like, after teaching from the classroom, hey, I see there's no African history or culture in the book. Well, we heavy in Asian culture, we heavy in European, Greek culture, well, Spanish culture. But I'm saying, like, what's going on? She said, well, that's the book we have. We got to make do with what we have. And I was like, well, don't you think we need other books then? Because this obviously ain't right. And even the white kids agree. You're like, you know, he is right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
But yeah, after, you know, being exposed to that and being a philosophy major, I wanted to find out, okay, so what was African philosophy? Okay. So it just set me on this path of wanting to know more. And then, you know, being, you know, an educator in pursuit of becoming an educator, I went back to school. I went back to Florida A&M, HBCU, and that's when I was really exposed to, you know, black authors.
FAMU?
Yeah. FAMU. So
on time to the Rattlers.
Yeah, I got my master's degree in history at FAM, and it was Dr. David Jackson Jr. that really, he was a very important figure in my life in terms of exposing me to the information, because he exposed me to Dr. John Henry Clark. He exposed me to Dr. Ben, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, you know, James Jackson. He exposed me to the individuals that which they are giants in terms of African history. Sheikh Anta Joe.
Yeah.
You probably call him Diop.
Yeah, I'll call Diop.
You know.
I got one of his books up here.
But it was those books, Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of a Negro. And you say you from the Caribbean, Haitian.
Oh, Haiti, out of Haiti, right.
So, Laurent Bennett, I don't know if you ever heard of Before the Mayflower. No, that's Before the Mayflower. But Tony Martin, wrote a book called The History of the Caribbean. If anytime
I got that book.
Yeah.
That's a college book I got.
Yeah, anytime I meet anybody from the Caribbean that want to know more about African history, I expose them to that book.
That book first?
I feel like, depending on where you come from, as far as where you were raised or born, will determine what you need to be exposed to.
Okay.
And for people from the Caribbean, I'd say Tony Martin book, because it takes a different approach into how you know about African history. For me, being an African American, I say Miseducation of a Negro, because books like that break down the education system that you were brought into, and then it open you up to receive your African culture.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So that's and you asked me, why do I think these books are important? These books are important to me because I feel like, although we're not in slavery, like physically anymore, we're still in a mental slavery that we gotta break down. And one of my passion and one of my goals in life, or my calling, so to speak, that I realized is to free us mentally from that mental slavery that we've been beat into. So these books are all important in terms of breaking that down, breaking that mental slavery down, because our consciousness is not free to have that deep African thought that we were born with.
Amen.
That's genetic. It's in our DNA, and it's been from the onset of mankind to have that African thought, because African thought came from the first humans knowing that they are human and knowing that they're spiritual beings, and that deep African thought is in our genetic makeup of the scientific observation that we have to how to know something. You know what I mean? You just can't walk around living in mysticism, just believing whatever. You know what I mean?
Whatever
most
they teach
people,
you.
yeah,
Right.
most people do that, and it's sad to say, but religion has done that to us.
Oh yeah.
Because religion, you believing in something. You know what I mean? As opposed to knowing. It's a complete different conversation to know something rather than just believe something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you're right. And the whole, religious thing that you mentioned, I mean, it's tricky, especially with black folks. We're spiritual people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From the ancient times, to today. And so if you tell someone, especially, let's say, for instance, they were, let's say Christian, for example, or Catholic, or whatever religions are out there, Seventh-day Adventists. If you say anything that goes against what their books say, what the Bible says. I was raised Christian. You know what I mean? My mom looking at us right now. Rest in peace. I was brought up Christian, which gives me a very rare and intriguing perspective on just spirituality and religion or religious dogmas as a whole, because I was brought up in the book, in the word. So I was taught to believe what they're telling me, regardless of the fact I may have questions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but me growing up as a child, I never really believed in the Bible until, like, I guess a few things happened. And let me rewind. Just because someone doesn't believe in the Bible doesn't mean they don't believe in God. You know what I'm saying? So that's the misconception people, you know what I'm saying, have. But, the reason why I didn't believe in the Bible is because, as a young kid, growing up in the hood, back home in Florida, single parent home in South Florida, my mom come from Haiti, 5 kids. So we seen a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I seen the devil. So I knew there had to be a God. That's how my mindset was.
Right.
So God has to be real. But what gave me the problem with the Bible is that man wrote the Bible. And I didn't trust man. So how am I going to trust what man has written? See what I'm saying? So, but that has a lot to do with me coming up, especially young black males. A lot of young black males grow up without a father figure in the home. So, and knowing that my father wasn't someone that was trustworthy, or I can, keep his word. So I didn't really believe anything he was saying. So it really created a relationship issue I had with men, period. You know what I'm saying? So it made me want to become a better man. So that's why I'm a man of my word now. But back to what about religion, you know, I think who said that? Henry Clark. He was saying, I'm sure you probably got it from someone else, that, you know, when the white man came to Africa, we had the land, they had the Bible. They made us pray, close our eyes. We open our eyes, they had the land, we had the Bible. And that goes on to today, you know what I mean? And Marcus Garvey, Honorable Marcus Garvey, once said that, you know, black people, we suffer so much from petty differences. Like we can't, you know, we can't move forward with each other as a unit because we want to argue and fight against, okay, you this religion, or you got this kind of money, or you got that kind of car, or you in that neighborhood, or you from that plantation. All kind of little things that the European system, white supremacy, created. You feel
because
me?
it took us away from our culture, and now we're trying to fight to get back there, because African culture was always one. Always been a unit as united.
Amen.
It never, until we had the invasions and everything to come break our society down, we're still one unit. Don't mean that we agree on everything, but the oneness always exists in terms of deity, in terms of God. If we speak in English right now, so we gotta use the word God. But even in terms of God, it's the misconception is that they believe in many gods, but that's not true. The deep African thought is always one deity, always been one supreme being, one the high, most divine, you know, expression that's broken down in many different ways. But that doesn't mean that it's not one. You know what I mean? You have water, but it can be expressed in ice. It can be expressed in
snow, rain.
It got different forms.
Right.
But
that's a good point. I never thought about
still
it.
water.
That's
you
true.
know,
That's
like
true. That's
you
true.
take a potato. You got potato. You got French fries. You got hash brown. You know, you got mashed potatoes. It's expressed in many different ways, but it still comes from that one potato. So it's like people don't tend to, as African thinking individuals, once you get out of your culture, you don't think that way anymore. So it's like you're trying to get back to that deep African thought. So the books we read help us relearn what was taken away from us.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And when you begin to study, and the more you read, the more it resonates within you. That's why when I wrote my book, the first title came to mind was Unity Within Me, because it was over a process of many years of studying that this unity happened within me.
Amen.
So that I know who I am now and know thyself. On all the ancient temples, the first thing you see when you go into that building is to know thyself. You know?
Got to.
And before you enter, you have to know yourself. Because if you don't, there's no need for you to walk into those temples. Because you're reconnecting with your ancestors. You're reconnecting with your genetic makeup. You know, everything that's within you, everything that is you, everything that's within the universe, the temples was made with that type of passion and love and affection and connection to the whole universe. So before you go into those temples, you need to know who you are.
Gotta know who you are. And it's powerful what you said, knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, ancient ancestors, they knew who they were. And the structures and edifices are still standing today. You know what I mean? And a quick thing before I continue, because I wanted to say something, but I ain't going to say it right now. You mentioned your book. What's the name of your book? Tell everybody your name, and then website, and then we go back and follow the rest later.
My book is called Unity Within Me, and it's on the Lulu website, lulu.com. And if you search Unity Within Me, you can even search it through Google, it should pop up. But I am a philosopher, a theologian, a historian. I'm a writer. I just basically love seeing people happy and finding joy in finding out who they are. That's been my passion since the beginning of finding out who I am. It's been to share it, you know, and not just African people. And I must say that because a lot of times when we speak about knowledge and knowing ourselves, we have to remember that we're speaking about the entire human species.
Right. We're not the only ones on the earth.
Yeah.
So, right.
But we must be clear that Africans were the first species that came into intelligence. You know, but to share this knowledge, it needs to go both ways. People of European descent, people of African descent, and everything in between.
Okay.
So the knowledge know no color because the universe know no color. So it's important that everybody know who they are. And we must reverse this issue of looking at African people as though they're something below or not human or subhuman, because that's how we have been treated for the last 2,000 plus years, as though we're animals. But it's the complete opposite. We are the highly intelligent animals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So unity within me it takes you on this journey, you know, with me and through my process of knowing who I am, in hope that you can find out who you are. And I lay out specific books throughout my book that expose me to the information, only so that the person can do their own research.
That's good.
I didn't write my book for anybody to believe me. You know, I didn't write it. I'm not trying to impose any belief system on anybody.
Okay.
I just want people to know.
Yeah.
And to know the truth. The truth shall truly set you free. But there's a process of knowing what you know. So I think people should take baby steps in, you know, being exposed to certain knowledge and information. That way they'll have a better understanding and understanding of it.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. Mm-hmm. And your book is called Unity Within Me.
Unity Within Me.
By Mr. Charles. So you can tell me your name, your website,
legacy that can only
Instagram,
be
something.
discovered from within. My name is Santiel Chambers.
Okay.
That's Santiel. And my Instagram is SantielC. And the website, like I said, it's on lulu.com,
Okay.
www.lulu.com/spotlight. Unity Within Me.
Just Google them. You're going to find them.
You Google it, you'll find it. But it's a work that I'm proud of. I took my time doing it.
Okay.
And I'm just happy. It's like a baby. It's like,
hey man,
you know,
you gave birth to it.
And
you gave birth
to
to
share it with people,
hey
man. And I'm just, you know, I'm excited. And I have several more to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just.
I can tell you got more books in you that you want to get out.
Just the beginning, man.
Amen. And you heard them, Unity Within Me. My name's King Kevin Dorival. You know, you all know I wrote a couple of books. I'm actually working on my third one now, but my second book is called 7 Types of Queens King Desire, which has been a blessing on many levels, and it goes into a lot of history. It's a compare and contrast of ancient queens with women of today. Matter of fact, it's this one right here underneath Malcolm X. And I did forget my sister Queen Suzanne's book this time, How to Get the Ring on That Finger, because I always do these videos, but her book always be in the other room because it's so good. So ladies, How to Get a Ring on That Finger, you might want to read this. So shout out Queen Suzanne up there in London, who gave me the opportunity to go to London last year, 2017, October. Matter of fact, this month makes it a year that we were in London for like 2 weeks with brother T.C. Carey, which I'm going to talk about his book in a minute. But yeah, this is the book right here, 7 Types of Queen King Desire. And you can't see it. You can see it right there. What? You guys follow me, so you know what it is. Now, the purpose of today's discussion is to talk about different books that has empowered both of us, you know, Mr. Santiel and me, growing up. And one of the, let's say, light bulb moments of my life as an author was when, it was twice it happened. Once when I was in the 5th grade, when I was reading like a book on Martin Luther King. You know, I was reading the Martin Luther King book in the classroom, and I remember just reading the book, and I was like, wow, that's gotta, like I could hear his voice as I'm reading, you know, the pages, man, like, you know what I'm saying? So it made me, you know, want to learn and read a lot more, because I had a speech impediment problem. I used to stutter a lot. So the only way to get out of that was to read and read out loud. You know what I mean? So any kids, if you got kids that got a speech impediment problem, they stutter, make them read out loud. You know, make them get a book and read the page, you know, the words out loud. The words are very powerful. There's an author I want to make mention. His name is Dr. Amos Woodson, and this is his book, right? He wrote several books, to be honest. But he wrote this book here, Black on Black Violence, Black Self-Annihilation in Service of White Domination. This book really opened my eyes and just the understanding, like what you were saying earlier about Carter G. Woodson, the miseducation of the Negro. This book it's like that, but on steroids. And he breaks down how we were just conditioned through the criminal justice system, through the political, social, economic situation, and just conditioned to act like animals, to kill each other, literally, you know, to hate ourselves. And by hating ourselves, we attack ourselves. And when I say ourselves, I mean ourselves and our immediate community. I mean, this book is so profound. Not just it made me, like, you know, get goosebumps. You know, some people, you know, you're in church and you know the pastor says a good word and you get the goosebumps and you feel like you got the Holy Ghost. I feel as if I got the Holy Ghost reading this book. As a matter of fact, it led me to start something that we've been doing every year for the past 5 years called the annual Black on Black Crime Solutions Panel, because of this book. Because I have several. Oh, you got a reference, okay? I feel them. That we started a panel back in 2013, and from there, under my nonprofit, I started a nonprofit called The Courage to Believe International. So we host the Black on Black Crime Solutions Panel. This year will have been our 5th one, and also we host the C2B Chess Club and Mentoring Program because of this book. There's no book I can say outside of the Bible. And what other good book I really thought profound book I read that changed my life? I can't really say it other than the Bible and this book. So these 2 books, you know, that really changed my life, man. And but I haven't read his book Blueprint for Black Power.
Okay.
I have it here, but I've read like 1 chapter. I remember one of his lectures. He was talking about finishing it, but I do have it. And by the way, I got this autograph. I don't know if you've seen that. This is the autograph of Mr. Woodson back in 1990.
Oh wow.
12/12/1990. And it's my mom's birthday, 12/12.
Oh wow.
Yeah, my mom's birthday.
That's amazing.
I ordered the book online, and whoever sent it to me, it was autographed. I couldn't believe it.
Oh wow.
Actually, this is not the first time that it happened. This book and Dr. Francis Walsing's book is autographed as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So those 2 books, I let a mentor hold my book. He's a mentor not mentor, but he's a mentor, but also works for the Broward School Board, some big position there. I let him hold his book, right? He didn't want to give it back.
Wow.
I said, bro, I could buy another one, but this is autographed. I gotta have this. So I'm calling, like I let him hold for like 2 months. He ignored my calls, ignored my emails, ignored my text messages.
He probably saw that autograph in there.
Yeah, but it was also, you know, he never heard of Amos Woodson, but he loved the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't hate on him. So you know how I got my book back? There's a woman, Dr. Baker, hi Ms. Baker. As a matter of fact, they honoring her with a huge award next month down at the African American Research Library for a lot of big award they're giving her. And maybe I might fly down and surprise her and show up to it, because I mean she's a big time supporter of like anybody that's young, black, doing something positive, especially doing something for kids. Man, she behind you 100%, and she ain't broke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That it's like that. But me and her was on the board together, Martin Luther King Celebration Committee, and she and I noticed she works in that building, and she has like a higher position than him or whatever. So I called her one day, you know, 'cause I really called her. I know she's busy, but she'd take my calls, and I told her the situation. But I ain't say that he stole the book. I ain't say that. I said, I've been trying to get this book back. I need it. Can you do me a favor and send a message to him, would you? I ain't really tell him what kind of situation it was. I ain't want to make him look petty, and I didn't want him to lose his job. I ain't want nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I just want the book back.
Yeah, want the book.
And he called me literally the next morning. I had to go through all. I kid you not, man. That's how powerful that book is, Dr. Amos Woodson. So if you guys don't know who that is, check him out. You know, he's another thing I like about Dr. Amos Woodson is how he articulates his words and his ideas, but also how he uses stories of the Bible to explain the organizational skills of our ancestors. Like, how do you build pyramids? They have to be relationships, and relationships and they had to be an economy. And the economy is not really based on money. The economy is based on relationships that people have. So because before money was involved, people had relationships.
That's what you would call ideologically. You would call it being a humanist. Okay. Where you invest in people. It's not about money, because when you invest in the money, it leads to exploitation of the people to serve to the end of, you know. But when people or the means to the end in and of themselves as people,
Right.
you invest in the people. And that's being a humanist. And African people, they were more so humanists in the sense that it was based on relationship, it was based on people, and the core essence of just being a person, being a human.
Be a person. Be good people.
And
man.
not exploit people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but other cultures, they didn't understand that. So that's how humans became to be exploited through slavery and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, the greed of money.
He really breaks that down.
Yeah.
And I have some other books that I mentioned in my book
Okay.
in regards to Dr. Amos Wilson. That's Awakening the Natural Genesis of Black Children. That's one. You have African-Centered Consciousness versus the New World Order. That's a
I didn't read that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
He wrote that in 1999.
Okay.
And then you have the Falsification of African Consciousness, Eurocentric History, Psychiatry, and the Politics of White Supremacy. That's a good one.
That's how the titles be, man.
Oh,
Amos
man.
don't play. Rest in peace.
Like the title just speaks volume
Right,
to the work,
right.
but if you read the book, man, it's amazing.
The video he has on that same title is awesome too. Matter of fact, I was just watching it a couple of days ago. You know what I mean?
But yeah, Amos Wilson, he's definitely one on my list, man.
Which one out of all his books is your favorite one?
Stolen Legacy, man. I guess because I'm a philosopher.
No. Out of his books.
Out of his book?
Amos Wilson book.
Oh, I would say the Falsification of African Consciousness.
Okay.
Because that really speaks to what's dear to me. Speaking about freeing the mind, because our consciousness is what really identify us with our essence of who we are.
Right.
And that's our mind, that's our consciousness. It's not the color of our skin, it's not, anything, it's that consciousness. And that consciousness is what opens the door for you to be able to have that deep African thought. And that leads you to being more scientific in your approach, because it's impossible to be an African and not be scientific.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Because to know something, you gotta have a strategic means of knowing. You just can't say you know something just by knowing it. There's a way that you can know something, meaning that
know that you know that you know that you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like this plant is not green and it's not here for nothing. You know what I mean? It takes energy from the sun. You know what I mean? And if it was edible and you eat it, that energy is gonna be transitioned into you.
Amen. Give me energy. As a matter of fact, speaking of that, we might have put some libations for
we got
people like Amos Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Who else?
Oh yeah. Dr. Ben.
Dr. Ben, rest in peace.
Dr. John Henry Clark.
Amen. Dr. Francis Chris Wilson.
George G.M. James.
Harry Tubman.
Usama Akbar September Amen. That's Ramsey.
Okay, man. okay. Two songs overture.
Anthony T. Browder, he's still alive, man. Let's do some people that's still alive.
Amen. Why not? Why people was alive, huh? Bless up to my grandfather, Jacques Cheese.
Yeah, Charles Finch.
Oh, we just met Charles Finch the other day at Carolina University had their homecoming, and so me and him, we both was living in Fort Lauderdale, literally down the hallway from each other, same condominium, 2 doors down.
Yeah.
And so finally we get a chance to vibe, but we was at Carolina, met Charles Finch, met Anthony Browder and his daughter Atlantis Browder.
Yeah.
And this is one of the books, the Browder File, and they also have the Nile Valley Civilization. What is it called?
The ACLU project that they're working on.
Yes. And, you know the website?
It's asaproject.com or something. Like that.
Listen, they are doing a wonderful job. Yeah, we're gonna put it inside the description of this video on YouTube. But Mr. Browder and his daughter, they're doing a big, powerful project. They've been doing it for the past 10, 15 years?
Yeah.
The first and only black Egyptologist. You feel me? You ever watch any of these documentaries, you never see one thing. You never see a black person being interviewed on whether it's
excavating a tomb in Karakorum.
What's the channels that be doing
National
those?
Geographic.
National Geographic, Discovery Channel, his channel. They never have a black Egyptologist. Tell them again who they're excavating right now.
They're excavating the tomb of Karakorum, who was a priest. And the temple complex is like 5 times as big as King Tut's temple. and 3 to 4 times larger than the Vatican City. So it's a very large temple complex. And, you know, the work he's doing is dynamic to the point where they're restoring it. And hopefully in 2023, we'll be able to go visit and see it for ourselves. I'm planning on going next year.
Hey, I plan on going. I'm not sure when, but I plan on going as well. You know what I mean? I think like the brother said, Brother Browder is doing a magnificent work. I mean, this is something that we must support and fund. I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. If I forget, please leave a comment. Hey, what's the Untitled Browder's website so we can find out how we can donate and support.
Definitely.
Just for the record, if Browder sees this video, you know, he caught me recording at the lecture, but I wasn't gonna make it public. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's so crazy after he was speaking and you know people signing books, whatever. You know, he was still cool with me. You know what I'm saying? I told him, look. I told him, look, man.
Teaching moment.
I said, look, I don't want him to upload it, make it public. This is for my personal use. But I asked her, hey, you ever talk to any like NBA, NFL players? Cause they all wearing these tattoos and necklaces. Like, you ever hit any of them up to get support for the fundraiser? And he told me, no, I haven't. But if you could connect me with some, you know, that would be cool. But just because they're in the NFL doesn't mean they're gonna want to support because they got the money.
Right.
But I was, and it's so funny, man. That same night, I was invited to a party in Alpharetta with some Hall of Fame basketball players.
Oh, wow.
On my way leaving there. You know what I'm saying? So, as a matter of fact, I'm going to, they give me a couple of tickets to go to one of the Atlanta Hawk games. So they have some kind of event for some of the Hall of Fame players. But some of them live up, you know, throughout Georgia, man. That same night, bro. So, you know what I mean? So I would love to have been able, if I had brought this information, I could have, you know, someone made a connection. Because there's people with a lot of money that just don't know what to do with it, or don't know or don't have anyone they really feel that they can trust outside of their circle.
And
you know
like I said, his presentation show that they're doing the work.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, we can't show you guys what we saw, but we can tell you about it. And
Man.
It's amazing to see the before and after pictures and the process that they're making. I mean, we definitely have to support it. And funding is needed.
It's breathtaking. I mean, they literally restoring some buildings and edifices and statues that are like 10, 20, 30, 50,000 years old. Who knows how old these things are? But they're literally restoring them because, you know, if you watch any of these documentaries, a lot of the buildings and temples, you know, they're in rubble. You know what I mean? So they put them together. I mean, breathtaking work. You know what I mean? Definitely check them out. So, but I want to talk about some of these other authors. Shout out to, Dr. Borishenko. Dr. Ashamuka Borishenko, I have 3 of his books. I have this book. I have his book called God, the Black Man and Destiny. And I know I'm probably messed up that title, but I had it for a while. And I also have another book of his called African Genesis. I think he has 3 volumes of it. I have 1 of them. And he has another book and video. If you haven't seen his video, it's called European Holidays and Mental Genocide. And he talks about in the book and in the video, you gotta watch this video. For those of you who celebrate all